Imagine standing at the foot of an endless ridge, mist curling around sharp peaks that vanish into silver clouds. In his hand, a handful of smooth pebbles catches the first light of dawn. Too small, he thinks, to change anything. But what the young mountain craftsman Ando is about to discover is that greatness begins with these smallest stones. Ando lives in a quiet village carved into the mountainside. Every morning before sunrise, he sits on his wooden doorstep, gazing up at the summit he yearns to reach, the dream of building a grand hall to honor his ancestors. Yet each day he finds himself sweeping his workbench clean of sawdust and daydreams, always waiting for some grand stroke of inspiration. His loyal sister, Mira, reminds him softly, "Even the tallest trees grow from a seed," but her words drift through his mind like fog. One storm-washed afternoon, Ando finds shelter under the eaves of an old mountain temple. Inside, an elderly woodcarver named Master Arlo is carving a delicate willow charm by lantern light. Raindrops drum steadily on the tiled roof. Arlo's amber eyes follow Ando's gaze to the peaks above. "So, you wish to reach the summit," the old man says calmly. "Tell me, what do you hold in your hand?" Ando looks down at the pebbles. "Nothing, not enough to make a difference," he replies. Arlo runs a hand over the half-finished amulet. "Long ago, a lone traveler planted a simple acorn in this temple's garden. Each morning for 3 years, he poured a single bowl of water around it and whispered a hope. A year passed, then two. Nothing seemed to happen. Not a sapling, not even a shoot. Villagers laughed and said the seed was dead, but the traveler kept faith." "And then?" asks Ando. Arlo smiles. "On the 3rd year's dawn, the acorn cracked. A young oak sprouted silently. It grew steadily, day by day, until it towered above all other trees in the forest. People called it a miracle, but they didn't see the years of roots growing in the dark or the daily bowls of water that built its strength." Ando watches the flickering light on the carving. "So my mountain doesn't rise all at once," he whispers. "It grows secretly before anyone sees it." "That's right," says Arlo. "Your summit is high, but your climb can begin with a single step. Tell me, how can you keep climbing if you do not move?"
Late that night, under a sky dusted with stars, Ando wipes old sketches from his table. He asks softly, "Master Arlo, what can I do? What are my small stones?" The next morning, long before sunrise, Ando grants himself a quiet hour. By torchlight, he studies one line of his architectural plans. It's a tiny step, but it feels like claiming the dawn for himself. This gentle ritual becomes his first stone. At twilight, Ando settles with a worn book on ancient structures, reading 10 pages by lantern glow. The wisdom of ages fills the silence of his doubt. Each page is a tiny beacon. This promise of knowledge becomes his second stone. At midday, as fatigue and doubt whisper, Ando forces himself to breathe and count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. By the final count, he lifts his hammer and strikes a beam on his workbench. The motion breaks the paralysis of hesitation. This is his third stone, action without delay. That afternoon, by firelight at the forge, Ando focuses on forging just one nail instead of the entire railing. When the last spark flies, the nail is hammered clean. A small task, achieved. This is his fourth stone, the power of tiny triumphs. Night comes, and Ando picks up a scrap of parchment. With a candle's flicker, he scribbles 3 things he's grateful for: the laughter shared with his sister, a warm meal after a long day, the support of the mountain air itself. As each word dries, a quiet lightness fills him. This is his 5th stone, gratitude's quiet alchemy. Early the next day, Ando ties a simple cord and runs up a steep trail for 10 minutes. The crisp air fills his lungs, and he feels his body and spirit grow stronger together. This breath of life is his 6th stone. When dusk falls, Ando turns away from the glowing screen of his hand mirror. Instead, by lamplight, he sketches a graceful arch of his own design. The village's chatter fades. In the quiet, he reclaims a piece of himself. This is his 7th stone, a dusk dedicated to creation. Weeks pass, then months. Ando does not feel a thunderbolt of change, only steady shifts. Dawn carries purpose, designs take shape. His spirit grows lighter with gratitude. Each day his 7 stones accumulate, quietly building the path forward. Years later, Ando stands beneath the grand hall of his making, a timbered masterpiece between the peaks, sunlight gilding its eaves. A young reporter asks, "What stroke of luck built this hall?" Ando recalls those silent dawns by lantern light. Smiling under an ancient oak, he answers, "No single moment carried me up this mountain. It was the 7 small promises I kept each day. Each one was a stepping stone, without which this hall would not exist." In his voice lingers the calm certainty of sunrise. Great wonders are never born in a flash, but in the small, faithful steps taken long before anyone sees them.